ruler of heaven and earth, we beseech thee to inspire and guide all our counsels and actions, so that we may always walk in the path of justice, love and charity to one another. Help us with thy grace to do only those things that will promote the unity, happiness, and prosperity of Nigeria. Amen.
Let me welcome the hearing of the House of Representatives, Committee on Capital Market and Other Institutions, public hearing on the downward trend that we've experienced in the last few years in the capital market. Thank you, those of you who found time to come here today and who are still here today, for your time, and I thank you also for the orderly manner we conducted ourselves yesterday. I hope that today will be as orderly and we'll be able to achieve as much as we can. It's a program we've stated for 2 weeks, but we're moving very fast. I'm sure we'll be able to get done with this even before the expiry of the time we have to finish this process. I want especially to thank the DG of the Securities and Exchange Commission and our team, the CEO of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, stockbrokers, shareholders. I welcome also the representatives from the men of the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission who are here with us, the team from the State Security Service, the team from the EFCC that are here with us. I hope that these deliberations will, at the end of the day, guide us towards lasting solutions to the downward trend we've been experiencing in the market. Without wasting much time, I will once again recognize the fact that we have in attendance today the DG of SEC, who was absent at yesterday's hearing, and DG NSC, sorry, the CEO of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Oscar Onyema, is here today himself, and with the permission of the House, I'd like to call him to make a remark in regards to what transpired yesterday. Let me do a brief recap. The House had yesterday resolved. Okay, sorry for the mistake. Let me allow members to do a brief introduction of themselves, starting from my right.
My chair, honorable colleagues, our guest, Uzoman Kim Abonda is my name. I'm from Abia State.
Chairman, distinguished colleagues, Victor Afam Ogene is my name. I'm representative of the Federal Constituency. I'm from Anambra State. Thank you.
Chairman, honorable colleagues, invited guests, my name is Adamu Ochefo Ento, representing Apaga to Federal Constituency, Benue State.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, my name is Razak Bello Osagi, Oredo Federal Constituency. I come from Edo State.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good guest. My name is Olabi Oyikola. I represent Ishayin Itesiwaju Kajola Iwajowa Federal Constituency. I'm from Oyo State.
Good morning, Chair, distinguished colleagues, our respected guests. My name is Honorable Chris Emeka Azuborobo, representing Newi North South and the Ikusigo Federal Constituency. I'm the Deputy Chairman of the committee. Thank you.
My name is Honorable Hembe. I represent Konshisha Vanika Federal Constituency. I'm from Benue State. Beside me is Hembe Kusanya, the clerk of the committee. Sitting also behind us are consultants for the committee, Honorable Barrister Chinga Igwe and Honorable John Khalifa. Thank you again. Now I'll go back to the recap. You will remember that as of yesterday we had invited the CEO of the Stock Exchange. Oh, I forgot to welcome also the President and his team of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers. Welcome, Mr. President. We had invited CEO of the the Nigerian Stock Exchange and he was unable to attend. Issues were raised, and since he's here today himself, I expect that he will respond to those issues as were raised yesterday.
That was meant to the members of the committee, so we apologize. Is there any, can I talk about this? Or?
Okay, thank you.
We all realize that for us to move this country forward, we have to have a pan-Nigerian agenda. We must learn to remove the imaginary boundaries of partisanship, be it your place of work, your religion, or sex, whatever it is. We must be very humble when we're in service. It's a very good virtue. It doesn't stop anything. What you have done now gives us the indication that we are here to work together. This is not intended to strike anybody. We have all agreed that there is a systemic problem where we are all operating from, and we need to get it better. I think that's the intention. But in the course of doing this job, you see, let me tell you, the auditor is not an investigator. The auditor is not a policeman. The job of the auditor is that of an independently trained professional whose duty it is to add credibility to the statements presented to him as to whether it shows a true and fair view of the state of affairs. But that if in the course of doing your normal duty, anything arouses your suspicion, you put matters to the bottom. The idea is to ensure that we build strong institutions for the benefits of our people. I think we appreciate that. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you, Oscar Onyama, CEO of SEC. We also requested yesterday, CEO of the Stock Exchange. We also requested yesterday that the incoming, you should come along with credentials and documentation for the entire management team of the Stock Exchange. Are you ready with that?
I was actually flying down last night, and we couldn't land because the. Sorry?
When was it?
Within the next 48 hours.
I like to we don't have computer.
Okay, we'll get it to you. Bearing in mind that we have to get somebody to Lagos to get all the information. But I can give you mine.
Thank you. Because we started quite late and addressed this house from the project.
Okay, honorable members of the committee and members of the House, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying that the beauty of our democracy is that it provides for us an opportunity to get everybody together and to speak about issues of national importance. So we are very much aligned with what the committee is trying to do. We think it will be a good thing for the Nigerian capital markets. Having said that, I will read from a prepared text. The role of a stock exchange is one of great importance to the financial and economic well-being of a nation. The Nigerian Stock Exchange presents this memorandum to the House of Representatives Committee on Capital Markets and other institutions in order to contribute to this process aimed at learning from past mistakes, finding a lasting solution to restore stability in our capital markets, and contributing to the development of the real economy. The Nigerian Stock Exchange is a private company limited by guarantee which has self-regulatory functions. It offers listings and trading services in equities, bonds, and exchange-traded funds, with approximately 200 companies, 56 bonds, and 1 ETF on the market. The Nigerian stock market presently has about 5 million registered investors and is regulated by the Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission. Even at the height of its boom in 2008, there were certain underlying currents that caused the foundation of the market to be unstable. This foundation could not sustain the pressure of the global financial crisis. The underlying issues were exposed during our own financial crisis in 2009 and are known to be contributors to the near collapse of our market. These were macroeconomic instability, low financial literacy, market indiscipline, and the lack of investor and consumer sophistication. An inadequate regulatory framework, NSE weaknesses, and a difficult business environment, and the lack of liquidity. Manifest causes. 1. The global financial crisis may have played a part in the crash, but other macroeconomic factors were key contributors to the never-before experienced event. Between 2004 and 2008, oil prices were on a steady rise. As government spending tracked the price of oil, monthly disbursements of oil revenues flooded the banking system, driving up deposits and lending, and accelerating credit creation. During this period, bank deposits and consumer credit quadrupled as banking assets grew at an average rate of 76% post-consolidation. The Nigerian Stock Exchange agrees with the CBN that Nigeria's financial boom was too rapid for the real economy to absorb the excess liquidity from oil revenues and foreign investments in productive sectors. This drove significant flows into non-priority sectors and into the capital market, mostly in the form of margin loans and proprietary trading. A number of these loans were without the appropriate regulatory framework for their operations. As a result, the NSE's market capitalization surged between 2004 and 2008 as the market capitalization of banking stocks grew by a factor of 9. This set the stage for a sector bubble, as evidence supporting commensurate improvements in the fundamentals of the companies themselves, the banks, were lacking. 2. Low financial literacy, market indiscipline, and the lack of investor and consumer sophistication also contributed to the fall of the market. The capital market boom of 2004 to 2008 triggered an increase in retail participation. With little to no experience, first-time investors poured into the market, unaware of the innate risk of investing in the capital market. During this time, January 2nd, 2004 to March 5th, 2008, the peak of the market, the All Shares Index surged 225.37%, and the market capitalization for listed equities grew 841.46%. Investment decisions were driven purely by speculation, and easy access to loan facilities usurped the need for proper financial planning. Low financial literacy made it easy for some financial institutions to take advantage of inexperienced investors and consumers, and as a result, market discipline was almost non-existent. While many banking institutions had risk management processes in place, these were often overlooked in anticipation of higher returns on their investments and loans. This led to an unprecedented level of bank overexposure and high rates of margin lending. Under the weight of the 2008 market downturn, these practices triggered unseen rates of default. This was further compounded by the lack of an adequate consumer protection framework to educate investors and consumers on their rights. As a result, investors took flight, causing illiquidity in both the financial and capital markets and the near collapse of the stock market itself. 3. An inadequate regulatory framework that failed to enforce the rules of the capital market for listed companies and broker-dealer firms. Inadequate disclosure by listed companies and broker-dealer firms was another key contributor to the crisis. Reports to the Nigerian Stock Exchange and the investing public were often inaccurate, late, or simply not submitted. This prevented market access to critical information that is required in making informed investment decisions. While some listed companies did not comply with the reporting rules of the exchange, some broker-dealer firms treaded a fine line between insider trading and their fiduciary responsibility to their clients. The exchange also had a known practice of not enforcing the rules in terms of the quality and timeliness of reporting, making it difficult to perform its role as a self-regulatory organization. Paper-driven process slowed down the regulatory capacity of the exchange and contributed to the lax attitudes of surrounding enforcement. While important information was sometimes released on a selective basis, some listed companies and broker-dealer firms engaged in the act of cooking the books. In the case of listed companies, the result would have been inflated stock prices. And in the case of broker-dealer firms, misplaced trust that led to improper acts involving investors' funds to short their own investments or to meet minimum capital requirements. In other instances, listed companies failed to engage a company secretary whose primary objective is to ensure the company adheres to the rules and regulations of the exchange. On the broker-dealer side, some brokers failed to maintain their credentials, foregoing continuing education programs that are required or that are requisite for maintaining their licenses. These practices and others foiled the speculative nature of the market and consequently the advent of the bubble that led to the recent bear market. 4. Weaknesses within the Nigerian Stock Exchange, including amorphous management processes and poor governance, facilitated lapses in market integrity and failed investor confidence. Unstructured management and ineffective internal processes were responsible for the NSE's latent approach to achieving its directive to oversee the capital market, the companies listed on the exchange, and the NSE's licensed dealing members. Corporate governance was weak as well. The council, or equivalent of board of directors, is entrusted to carry out a specific mandate of providing an efficient market by ensuring appropriate oversight of exchange management, but priorities may have been skewed during the boom, causing a shift in focus from the stability and development of the market to other non-priority areas, including campaign and marketing, for example. Committee structures were not deployed and no performance management framework existed to ensure the Council's oversight of management's success in meeting the NSE's objectives. The exchange was not adequately equipped to manage systemic risks, nor was it diligent in enforcing the rules of the market. There was a known lack of will to enforce sanctions for market infractions, and sentiments towards the market began shifting once the market took a turn in 2008. Market compliance was deficient, supported by the lack of automated processes. There were little to no analysis-based linkages between the market performance and market surveillance, compliance, growing investor complaints, and market inflows or outflows, all critical to mitigating market risks. Information from the exchange was also scant and fell short of addressing investor affairs, both locally and internationally, from the onset. Requisite analytical data for management purposes were unavailable, and market reports looked mainly at stock performance, with little attention to market trends, macroeconomic shifts, and risks. Cultural nuances, professed status, and the perceived success of the market between 2004 and 2008 impinged on good leadership, and the exchange delayed all necessary reactions to the state of the plunging market. This resulted in huge investment outflows and bound retail investors who lost confidence in the market. 5. A difficult business environment and a lack of liquidity contributed to further embitter the capital markets. A difficult economic climate and unfavorable market conditions contributed to further eroding confidence in the market and in the exchange. Companies were more focused about coming to the market, and the lack of follow-through in terms of accountability deterred local investors who bore the brunt of the downturn. Loans facilities were up for businesses, market participants, and investors, and despite sustained huge losses, the legal process was not utilized to bring integrity back to the market for lack of efficiency and affordability. Investors lost their savings to investment decisions, mentality, and were reluctant to the market. Brokers were denied access to funds to curb risky and potentially undisciplined behavior, and quotable companies stood on the sidelines waiting out low valuations and inadequate liquidity. This resulted in pantry levels of participation in the market that forced a market correction and the near collapse of the capital markets in 2009. Recovery, 2011 and beyond. In the 13 years before the 2008 financial meltdown, the Nigerian equity market returned over 1,200%, but has struggled since then. In 2011, the market lost approximately 1.4 trillion in market capitalization, from 7.92 trillion at the end of 2010 to 6.54 trillion by the end of the year. We believe that these losses were driven by 1. The soft global economy, including the debt crisis in the United States. 2. The Nigerian banking crisis, including nationalization of 3 banks in August. 3. The lack of investor confidence triggered by losses incurred during the financial meltdown of 2008, and I've already talked about that. 4. The lack of liquidity and depth in the market. 5. Concerns about the security situation in the country. And 6. Rising interest rate environment. The NPL got to about 12%, which is encouraging investors to shift from equities to fixed income investments. In 2011, the NSE set a broad objective to create an African institution that competes effectively in the global marketplace. The vision to be the gateway to African markets was set, supported by the main objectives to achieve 1 trillion naira in market capitalization by 2016 and have 5 products available in our market. The NSC has taken the following steps to lay the foundation to achieving this goal. 1. New leadership. Following the intervention of the Securities and Exchange Commission in 2010, a process was started to recruit new leadership to the exchange. The NSE welcomed its new CEO, my humble self, on April 4, 2011. The Executive Director of the Market Operations and Technology Division, Mr. Adeolu Bajam, on May 3, 2011. Since joining the exchange, the team has worked tirelessly to lay the right foundation for the growth and development of the Nigerian Stock Exchange and capital markets. The exchange is enforcing penalties for late reporting of financial performance. In July 2011, we took action against 49 companies and only 10 outstanding at the end of the year. and has initiated proactive measures to assist companies to meet their reporting deadlines. The NSC also completed the first Company Secretaries Forum, designed to ensure blanket awareness of reforms and to foster compliance of existing rules. 4. Market structure. In 2011, the Exchange identified key initiatives aimed at facilitating market growth and development. These were market segmentation from 33 to 12 sectors, so industrial sector reclassification. 2. Revised share buyback policy, which was approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission. 3. Introduction of market making. The SEC approved this set of rules last week. Introduction of securities lending, which the SEC approved last week as well. Revised listings requirements, which were approved last week by the Securities and Exchange Commission. These are items that are within the control of the exchange. There are other initiatives that are
to clarify, because we actually have, I think it's an important point that the Honorable Chairman has raised. And actually, since I joined SEC, there have been instances where we've actually sanctioned companies specifically with respect to ensuring that they have sufficient funds to back the dividend payments. So it is something that we have done through our rules and through ensuring that our rules are taken account of. What I would like, because I think it is important that we're very specific in our responses to what you mentioned on IGI and the other insurance companies. So if you permit, my colleagues who were in the SEC before I joined will answer specifically those questions. Thank you.
Who specifically would like to answer that question? But even when you're a private company, you sell shares to a certain limit, you become a public company. Your job is to protect those who have shares in that company, especially when those companies run away, over the market, and all of that. You have not told us in all what you're saying that you ensure that even one of the shareholders of those that have run away got his investments back, or got a single dividend. Please, you have 1 extra minute to finish that, but we'll go to the next point.
Trying to achieve with the public such that there is a better understanding is achieved. On the issue of whether the companies have come to the capital markets, which is what we want to make sure happens. We have interacted with the shareholders of the company. We have interacted with the capital market of others, and what we have gathered, and this is actually, in my opinion, what I would consider an additional service that the SEC has been providing on this issue. Some of the shareholders are ambivalent about their company coming to the market at this time because they're concerned about the general state of the market. It is a decision that they would have to take. But as the ethics regulator, as I said, our goal is to create an enabling environment for investors to ensure that their needs are protected. So the issue is capital market operator, the investor in that particular entity, and the state of the market. As SEC, what we have done and have been told we've done is actually have gone beyond the call of duty to try and ensure that this issue is resolved in a way that protects the investor. We've also, some of what we've achieved already in this issue is that we have caused some of them to register their existing securities with the Commission. Indeed, I understand that one of the companies that finally got listed recently, in fact the only listing we've had is a company that originally had registered securities.
Which specific company are you talking about?
Austin Labs is a company that came to the market recently. It had already.
You are left me too far behind. You have left me too far behind. I mentioned to you simply that some people came, some companies came, sold shares, people bought these shares. These companies listed some deals, some after listing got delisted, ran away. Investors are not getting their money. I have asked you how you ensure that these investors got their money because I know that they have not got their money. That's what I'm saying. So if you're going and telling me all the good things that you're doing, you're still not answering me on these specific questions. I know that you're doing your job. But as far as this one I'm talking about, this one issue I'm talking about, which I'm going to close now, I want to say to you that as far as protection of shareholders, which is your I've pointed 2 issues where I can prove to you, and you've not disproved me up to now, that you've not protected investors. But let us look at that. Because I think this committee is finding financial. I'll point to another issue just before we move on. I'll point to because we haven't finished on the issue of banking, the nationalized banks, yes. Yes, I'm going to just read one, then you go ahead. Now, there were some proceedings held at the SEC by the APC on the 5 CBN intervention funds. Those proceedings were meant to determine what was wrong with them and advise you, which advice will probably have led to protection of this bank. What were the findings of the APC and how to direct?
The elements of it yesterday, which is, as a background, we carried out a forensic investigation on, and indeed, the issues are sub judice and are in the Investment and Securities Tribunal. I did mention that some of the market integrity issues came out of some of our investigation, including that we made allegations of insider trading, of wash sales, of pump and dump. Many of the things that affected our markets between 2007 and 2009. So I'm limiting myself to the issues that I can comment about because we have taken the cases to the Investment and Securities Tribunal, and we have indicated that we took 260 entities and individuals as a result of these infractions to the Investment and Securities Tribunal.
Sorry if I'm sorry if it seems as if I'm the only one asking. I will soon take it sure. But I have a direction I'm taking. I just want to get to the bottom. My question: the findings of the APC are conclusive, right? Were they conclusive? So I'd like to consult my lawyer in using the right terminology because this case is an Investment and Securities Tribunal, because we are alleging that there were illegally gained profits which must be discussed, and because we want for the Nigerian people that they get those illegally gained profits returned to them. I do not want to say anything that will compromise those cases. So if you permit, I'd like to use the right terminology as to the transition from the Administrative Proceedings Committee of the SEC to the Investment and Securities Tribunal, because I do not want to undermine those cases and the opportunity for Nigerians to get the illegally gained profits that people had made through the things that have been carried out between 2007 and 2009 in this market. Thank you. Okay, thank you. The APC carried out, I understand, a very thorough investigation into the matter of the 5 banks. And then one day on the 6th of July, a letter emanated from the office. And I want to read this letter to the hearing of everybody, and we'll annex it as Exhibit 1. The letter from you reads: discontinuance of the administrative proceedings against the 5 CBN interventions. Now, I pointed, there was an investigation about the 5 banks to determine whether it was right, what was going to happen with the nationalization and all that, to guarantee probably shareholders. And then she comes up with a letter. In the light of new development, with respect to the ongoing investigation in 5 intervened banks, Africa, Film Bank, Intercontinental Bank, Oceanic Bank, and Union Bank, and most of these banks have issues now, I am asking that you discontinue administrative proceedings against the bank and all other parties joining the bank in the APC proceedings. The discontinuance should be notified to the parties by close of business today. Please notify all the interested parties of this directive.
Because I understand that there's a legal issue in terms of the terminology. And indeed, as always happens in the work that we do at the SEC, there was a process which we went through, and the terminology is just continuous. The reason there is that terminology is that when I arrived at the SEC, we out additional forensic in that throughout additional had not been account of, and it was determined that ensuring first of all that there is and that justice is done. The Investment and Tribunal had
the job to be investigation, there is prosecution. So you cannot say that when you terminate an investigation, you expect the court to do an investigation by itself. You need to understand that kind of document, and without proper explanation from you, it will seem that you, as a regulator, you sabotage the workings of your agency and compromise the capacity to investigate. Which I'm thinking this. Let's start off from talking about. And in this bank, essentially, you know, we went ahead and gave that approval. And we're going to go to the Union Bank. Finally, shareholders in these places feel like they're carried along. And there were petitions before you that were being handled by the APC, and you came up one day for reasons that are only known to God and terminated the investigation with immediate effect, starting that day, and everything concerning it should end. Just so that I won't be the only one who says something, I have to allow opportunities for others to say, but we have ended the matter of the APC. We'll do something else.
The challenge I have there is that DG said you've been talking about discussion with shareholders. I want to believe there are mainly two types of shareholders. The majority shareholder, maybe an individual holding so much, and these minority shareholders, which constitute about, many Nigerians, millions of Nigerians holding stock. What we are talking about is that which of these are you protecting? Are you just protecting the majority shareholders? I asked the issue of UBA and other banks now. I know what is happening in the market, but as SEC DG, can you tell Nigerian people what is happening to UBA stock, Access Bank stock in the market in the last 4 weeks? Thank you very much.
That is sub judice at the Investment and Securities Tribunal. You raised an issue of the market integrity, which is one of the things that we've been focused on at SEC, related to the investigations with respect to the insider dealings, the wash sales, the pump and dump.
You can do those submissions. No, you don't need to.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, because I think it's very important that the Nigerian people also understand what went on.
We are talking the opportunity to bring those things in writing.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Yesterday was important because there are very important issues that will be allowed to also make written, very specific submissions on the issues that you raised. Honorable Oyekola had asked whether our role is to protect the majority investor or institutional investor over the minority investor or the retail investor. Indeed, our role is to protect all investors. And in fact, we see that our role is even more important with the retail investor, with the less informed investor. And whether it be the Investment and Securities Act that you promulgated, or whether it be the regulations and rules that arise from the Investment and Securities Act, we continue to ensure that our role is to protect the uninformed investor, the retail investor. So I do want to clarify that that is how we perceive our role. And there are a number of things that we have put in place since January 2010 in this respect. One of them is something that was in the Investment and Securities Act, had not been caused to happen, which is the Investment Protection Fund, which our board recently authorized. The other aspects are issues related to ensuring that investors are knowledgeable and understand what it is that they're investing in. And I say that because, as I said yesterday, your best defense as an investor is the knowledge that you have of the market. You had also asked about what you perceived as happening with respect to UBA and Access Bank shares that joins, whether it's the brokers on the floor of the exchange. And one of their roles is to monitor how transactions are being done. And we have systems in place that enables us to investigate when we see that there is any transaction that looks abnormal. The exchange, the Nigerian Stock Exchange, also has systems in place to do that. So, and yourself, Honorable, as well as the Nigerian people, use the mechanism of sending us a complaint. So if you do feel that there's something specific that is unusual around this particular case, you can also share that information with us. We have had a number of cases in the past, an elaborate investigation on the evolution of share prices, because it is a very important issue. So if you're, I'm not sure specifically if you're questioning the evolution of share prices in this particular two organizations. If you are, I think it's important to send us specifically the issues that you're raising about these two stocks for us to address.
Today is S Naira para adventure. In the next 3 weeks, we are seeing a consistent maximum gain on that stock for 2-3 weeks. What are your rules at SEC? And we are even talking of specific stock. We are not even like, it's a public area and we need to tell ourselves the whole truth. What have you done? Or what are telling me that you don't see anything wrong with that? Don't forget, digital. Don't forget we have portfolio managers in the market. What are you doing to protect Nigerians? All the folks, uneducated about all these things, when these people decide to operate.
He'd asked if there are specific rules as to how stocks trade. The stock exchange can give you the specifics because they're actually daily bands within which stocks trade. My sense also that he's also concerned about what is our role if there is an unusual evolution, appears to be an unusual evolution in a share price. There are a number of things that we do, which is why I mentioned that there is an SEC staff on the floor of the exchange that monitors the evolution of shares. We also
to you on this specific stock. So that you can tender it as an evidence here. Thank you.
To put it into writing and then send it back to us. So are we going to be waiting? Yes, excuse me. Are we going to be waiting for that? You see, what I think, this is very simple. You know, we're all managers here. I said it yesterday. Some of us are also in the financial system. You know, we manage men and materials. I mean, not everybody is, you may be a new politician. I come from the same constituency with most of you sitting on there. If I did 20 years in the banking industry, for instance, you should know that I must have interacted with SEC, I must have interacted with some stocks. You see, I know you may but you're on the opposite. That is what the idea. The idea is to find a common ground. Have we agreed that we have a fundamental problem? Therefore, shouldn't we look at the way to the spirit? Whatever you can do to restore public confidence is important. Please, whatever you can do from the direct response, I will assist the report making process. And we are not going to wait here forever. This thing is going to Mr. Chairman, we have only 2 weeks. I think that's true. Whatever you can do the best that you can. Thank you.
Should have sent to you, the report that he sent to you was sent to you in the past, particularly concerning the issue in question, so that you will be guided about what has been going on there.
So keep records of every stock that's traded. So there's even a faster means to get the information. But
I agree with you, DG said. Sorry, that we are looking at the perspective of the regulator. That's what we are looking at. What are the things that you put in place as a procedure in case this happens in case this does not happen, can we get it from you? Then we will not go ahead on our own to find out from other means. We have some this, like Osaki said, I was in the financial sector for more than 20 years. I've interacted with many of you here, so I know what we are talking about. So let's try to see the way we can agree and move forward. That is the way. You understand that? I read my case.
Is that in addition to the surveillance that the Nigerian Stock Exchange carries out, the SEC actually has someone who is on the floor. In addition, I have said that we carry out investigations on the basis of and in a specific case where we find that there is unusual trading, we carry out investigation. So that was what I was saying before the additional comments. So we do carry out an elaborate process with respect to investigating the unusual evolution. Now we believe that what we are saying is you will ask by tomorrow morning, including reports relating to questions that are put to you, so that we can use those as exhibits in making the case for you. Thank you very much. There was a dispute the GPHL and Diamond Bank Limited. Did you hear that? On the dispute between GHPL and Diamond Securities Limited, what was the finding and how did you direct? To you, because in the short time you've given me, I think it will be difficult to tell the Nigerian people what the issue is, what the finding was, and what was the conclusion. So we will make a submission to you on that issue. Thank you.
Okay, before, thank you. To let them know what happened in the market. And I don't want to believe that if we need a written submission, you don't need to come here. The world is a global village now. You can actually sit down out of your office and send a mail to us. I think what the chairman has asked is a very simple question. There was a dispute. What did you do? How did you resolve it? I don't think it will take more than 5 minutes if you need to summarize. You don't need to take us to talk about the historical perspective of this issue. We just need for you to summarize and let Nigerian people. We are not telling Nigerian people and they are watching us. Thank you.
GHP, I happen to have the reports of the Enforcement and Compliance Department's position paper on the complaints by General Housing and Products Limited against Diamond Bank, PLC, Diamond Securities and Loan Limited on margin facility and mismanagement of shares. I know that the committee, if you look at the last page, the committee went as far as recommending what is done. Maybe I should read this so that I can understand what I'm talking about. This is a petition, this is a complaint by a company, or let me call him an individual. He took a loan from Diamond Bank and bought shares from the same bank to be managed by Diamond Securities. They had clauses in the agreement which stated that if the shares drop to a certain level, it will sell. Now, which is what happened most of us in Parliament here too, who took loans to buy shares. The shares dropped in value and he could get nothing from the shares, but Diamond Bank went ahead and said he must pay the loan. And so they went to the Securities and Exchange Commission asking for the rest. There's the final report, the resolution of sex. My question to the DG is, how have you done this report?
In this public hearing, that we make sure that things are properly understood by the people of Nigeria. I think that is a very important obligation. And I am concerned as the DG SEC that some of the lines of questioning and some of the ways the issues have been captured may not have sufficiently provided the clarification and the positioning of the issues to the Nigerian people. As a citizen of Nigeria, I'm very concerned about that. And that is why I made the comment, because on issues of margin facility, on issues of an agreement that you've reached in a particular case, on issues of within the SEC to deal with issues, it is very important that it is elaborately articulated. Because Chairman, someone has said in this proceeding, this market is very information sensitive. So we must be careful that information with the right is accurate and make sure that it is one that is well understood. And so one of my concerns is that in the time that we've had this discussion, I've been asked about dividends, I've been asked about private placement, I've been asked about the administrative proceedings committee of the SEC, and there was even some confusion that the agency itself does the investigations when indeed it is an administrative hearing. I've been asked about issues that are sub judice that are currently in the Investment and Securities Tribunal, and what I'm trying to make sure is that we respect the law and that I don't bring up issues that are sub judice.
It shouldn't matter to you the manner in which we have what we want to say. We have a job and we're going to do that job no matter what. I've asked you, does it matter whether we ask you about APC and I'm asking you about this other one and that? What your job here is, answer. I told you this is not a delicate, this is not a confusing issue. There's a report that I have before me which I'm going to submit to the exhibit, and I can make copies and give everybody if I want. Saying that there was a complaint before your commission. The final report the resolution was reached. They looked at it critically because it's a lengthy document and came to a final conclusion. My question to you is, how did you direct? Because necessarily will go to your table for you to direct so that there will be final resolution. How did you direct?
And the rules, and also ensuring that there is fairness and equity. On this issue, given my past experience in the last 30 minutes, you will not give me sufficient time to describe it. But what I'd like to say, and as you said, you have the report in front of you because somebody made that submission to you. I think it will be important to bring all the reports related to the issue. But I want to confirm that the decisions that have been taken by me since I joined the SEC in January 2010 are guided by the rules, by my responsibility as the DG of the SEC and by the law.
Because the agency involved has not received finality, the people involved have not received finality in this matter, which means you have refused, failed, or neglected to direct in the manner your agent, because someone working with you under you is your agent, directed or recommended, which is why the people have not received finality. I will allow Honorable so this will be taken and marked as exhibit after which I will take you up on the issue you've just raised, because I'm a lawyer and I know that in the court of law, once you pronounce yourself as clean, you have opened the door for people to show that you're not probably not be as clean as you say.
I will also claim indulgence of this audience to pardon my ignorance if my questions may not look good, because God forbid that everybody will know everything in the world. I will open my comment by taking a tip from what Honorable Osage said. In the financial sector for 20-something years. I'm afraid I've done nothing but also law in the past 20-something years. And they are going to be fair and to appear to be doing matter, not only but to be seen to be fine doing things and discovering an issue. My question first of all will go to, before my comment, banking and all problem that I had a semantic national life. I want to really understand the true all about what's called nationalization. Does that mean that from my knowledge of it means turning to the nation, taking the assets of the place? I don't know if central bank is here or represented or invited. What is the role of central bank in this nationalization process, and what is the amount to? Finally, these banks, so to say, that were right, want to market and so on, did they issue prospectus, and the investors do get to invest based on the prospectus? And then what is the response if a listed company taking or wound up? What is the shareholder? How can if a listed company is never wound by law? So my comments is like Bagabello, moving forward, capital market is very starting. Capital market has got some problems. Due from 2008 and I think in 2009. We also see that a lot of presentations made. But I also think that it's only proper for any document would say the makers are presented as the law, so that we can ask them questions to ascertain the veracity or otherwise or of what we're taking in, so we don't be seen to have vested interest of chasing children. There are a lot of questions I would have loved to ask the makers of certain things. They know exactly their instruments and purposes. True things, if it didn't fit, that we fought for them, but we need to dig to the details, so we'll leave those things unturned. I do not need to give them a catalogue of questions of respect or documents to bring. If they so demand to go and get the right document, we say by total time, get out the report. But I'm interested in the end of this matter. With this, I am done.
The wireless, you will recall, those of us who are watching here will recall that in presenting the documents, I've got 2 documents out here. In the first instance, we took the document to the DG of Care to have confirmation as to whether the document was real or not, and she confirmed here. I mean, I'm lying, it is on record that the document was emanated from Kenya. And these documents are not necessarily criminal documents. They are simply administrative issues that took place in the Securities and Exchange Commission, which we are privileged to have access to. So we are simply saying, we're not saying that people have come with a petition. We are saying we got access to this document saying so and so happened as it said, and we are asking that to confirm that this happened and tell us how to solve the issues in question. We are not saying there's a accusation against her. Even the issue of the one I got the last one I got about the Diamond Bank issue, it's just a document of step. She said that there was an investigation. She has said that she cannot answer as to what her findings were because she needs time to bring the document. Okay, then I'll ask you again so that they will seem to be fair. What were your findings?
And you're reading from those documents and you share the documents with me. But I think that it would be odd to ask me to explain something where you're holding a document which you say came from the SEC, which I did not share with the SEC, we share with you. But on the issue of so elaborate, and if you may permit me to humbly say that what you read were a few things in the document that you had. And so it would be unfair, particularly because this was a dispute between 2 parties, to come to a public hearing and not expose everything related to that issue and focus on the short statement that you made. That is the point that I was making. I was trying to not, say it in this manner because I don't want to any other impression. But my point is that the issue of this dispute between parties is such an important issue.
What I did, I got out a report which contains discussion and a resolution. And I said this document is treated in the SEC and the resolution arrived at. And I'm asking how you treated that resolution. I'm not saying that the dispute is still lingering. I am saying that the document suggests, no, the document states clearly that there was a resolution, that the resolution is even stated there. 7 items and the resolution. We say that this document, that this matter has come to finality, expecting that you will finally direct. That's the point I made. I need us to clear the air clearly. This document says that there's finality. Of course, the remainder of the job is for you to direct action on it. That's the point of the document. There's nothing that is ambiguous. There's nothing that says that the document, the matter is still, and I've heard from only one part. I mean, that's my point. So if you have questions, your issue cannot be that I heard from only one side or the other. I have a report which says that both sides were here. The matter was thoroughly looked into and a decision reached. My question now is, how did you react or direct regarding that final decision that was reached? One of the parties who feels has come to this house. And the parties have come with a petition to this house, which has come to this point. Listen, do not make take one point. What I know exactly. I will not allow you to look for ways and means of dodging the questions I'm asking you. You will not think that you want to come and you ask me to bring petitions that are before me to show to you a simple question that what you should be saying. There was no investigation of that sort. So there has no business coming forward. But what you do instead is not a secret. Even if it was, the Freedom of Information Act opposite us. So if there's an investigation between two parties at the Fed, and what party has come to me to say to the committee to say they didn't get justice, even though there was finality in adjudication at the SEC, you have a duty to respond to this committee. And if you fail to respond to this committee, we will have no option but to decide as far regarding the document that is before us. I close that matter.
Whether at the time that the banks that had been asked about, whether related to, I believe, your question, Honorable Chairman, about APC or about IST, when these transactions came to the market. And I do confirm that at the time that the banks issued the securities, that they did have prospectuses that they issued. Thank you.
Thank you. Regulation DG of SEC. One of your staff, one Charles Ugeli. See here. Charles Ugeli. Charles Ughele. Is one of your staff.
I'm sure that it's because I'm sitting in front of. I don't know those who are sitting.
Charles Ugeli here, please.
If he was here, I'm showing you the first one.
Is the advisor, is your advisor, is he here? Yes, I did. If you know him, I'm sure if he was here, he would have an answer. I believe so. Ask you a question. Ugeli is your, a set of questions actually. Your advisor,
no, that's not what I told him. You must. What I'd like to
answer the question.
No, but I think
what you style.
But I think that Honorable Chairman, you also represent me. So you need to explain to me why you would just mention someone's name.
I'm leading you on. Answer the question. You're not leading me on. No, listen. I'm asking you. The question is, what do you style in your office?
It's called Project Advisor.
Good. He's not here because they're relevant. How did you get my question? How come he works with the SEC? sector, primary, tertiary, you're regulating Access Bank. If you're regulating an Access Bank has recently been in the news regarding a merger and acquisition, and they give you somebody advisor who pay, and then they pay him. Access Bank also pays him. How can you tell me? Let me finish. How can you tell me that you can be efficient in regulating that same agency that is giving you a staff act and is paying the staff and is oversight, and then the staff is working in the department that seems to oversight the same bank? How can you tell me that there's transparency?
My sense, and I'm a Nigerian citizen, let me just let's move on. A member of the House, that you will not create the impression that would, no, sir, this is very important, that would either undermine my moral capacity, or the moral capacity of the SEC, that is the job of the Nigerian capital market. So, sir, I'm very confident.
Let us continue.
I'm very confident.
I need to continue. But these questions are necessary, whether we like them or not. We're looking at the collapse in the market. We're worried about regulation. If regulation is impaired by bias, by incompetence, by fraud, or any such other thing, it should bother us. So I will not ask you a question now. I am worried. And these questions, when I ask the question and you answer, the judgment is not yours. You give your answer, and then let the judgment be for the panel and Nigerians eventually. You understand? It's not about you. It's about the doing. It's not a witch hunt. If you call it a witch hunt, you will tell me if I'm the one who employed a staff of agency you're regulating to work with you and regulate the people you're supposed to be regulating. How you might blame me for that? I want to go ahead and ask you further questions. This same person in question, who pays his salary? No, they are related. The second question, because I know if I ask her to answer the question, okay, who pays the salary?
The question we need to ask, because we need to be serious. Access Bank is not a parastatal of government. It's not. Except he has, thank you.
It is very important for us, in our roles as leaders of society, to ensure that what is indeed the questions that Nigerians are asking are the ones that we're asking and answering. We've had presentations that were made following your request, Honorable Chairman, on what were the reasons why the Nigerian stock market did what it did, and why, and you either question more specifically. But I do want to make that comment because the Nigerian people want to understand what happened that led our market to decline from a peak of 12.6 trillion naira to its bottom in February of 2009 to 3.49 trillion naira. That is the question. But you asked me specifically that who is paying Charles Ulele. It is Access Bank that is paying Charles Ulele. But you represent
okay, that's okay.
as a citizen of Nigeria.
That is okay.
I'm very concerned.
You're overplaying this. I have a follow-up on that question. No, please. She has answered that. She has said Access Bank, please. Yes. My question to that, my follow-up question will simply be, if the Securities and Exchange Commission broke or incapacity, or not incapacity, to pay the salary of somebody on the style, whatever you style, which is why you decided to go to Access Bank to get the staff.
I hope you let me answer the question fully. As I mentioned yesterday, since I joined the SEC, we don't just go and, recruit, pick up a staff, we go through a very elaborate selection process. And I outlined what we went through to be able to bring in the 52 young professionals that we have, which started with us advertising in the newspapers such that we can have respect all of the things that we need to respect with respect to recruitment. And we had about, I think it was 34,000 applications, a little over that, and went through a very rigorous selection process that led to the appointment of the 52 young professionals. That process started in December 2010 and ended in December 2011. What I have done is that in cases, and this is not specific to the SEC, this happens in different government agencies, where you require a specific skill to assist you with a specific issue, where there are weaknesses and you need that at that point in time to seek people who would help you in that regard. I made the point about Mr. Ueli specifically, and Honorable Chairman, you had said, is he an admin advisor? And I even was more specific as to what his role is, which is in projects. And those projects have nothing to do with our regulation of the capital market. Those projects have nothing to do with us carrying out our duties. What it has to do is some of the things that we're working on in terms of enabling us to become more available to investors around Nigeria. He specifically worked on a project to help us acquire our own office in Maiduguri, to help us acquire our own office in Port Harcourt. In fact, when I arrived at the SEC was housed inside First Bank's building. So no, but it's important that I describe this. Yes, thank you very much.
My observation has been that there is some feeling, and that can see that coming from you, the kind of body language. But I think I need to make that clear that there's nothing personal about this. But my concern is specific to the gentleman that you mentioned. What specific role does it play? You have mentioned a couple of them now, including getting an office for you in Maiduguri. Is that correct? I was just wondering that SEC, with so many professionals there, even though according to you, your beautiful yesterday, you mentioned something about the fact that you need to make it more professional, which is in tune with the development in the world. But I was beginning to wonder that, is it that SEC is so incompetent in the area of identification of people that could do property, for instance, just get an ad? Because we know, we're in Nigeria, we are all leading. We know we have information about things that goes on in SEC, and we know that staff there are not particularly very comfortable. And I know I'm speaking on my honor, but which you have the mandate to do right. Would you consider the man to be very appropriate to do those projects for you, as against your staff in SEC? Thank you.
And he brought very specialized skills, so we do not have the right capacities in that area. And as you kindly mentioned, I did mention that there were specific capacity issues in the SEC which we're trying to tackle.
Including the area of
absolutely, in that area. Absolutely, yes.
All right. Can we get that?
What I suggest is that since we actually live in Abuja, maybe you can invite him and speak with him in addition to us sharing with you. Yes, we've got. We have the activities and
tomorrow. The letter you wrote to him or to Access Bank, please off your mic. You must have. Can you off your mic? Thank you. I was not on that.
Sorry, there is a process for anything that we do in life. You want to start from Spring Bank. You must have written to Spring Bank. You must have justified why you need that staff. Can we see a copy of that letter? Then the response from Access Bank. Then the roles assigned to this gentleman. Because we need to be very careful. We are leaders. And if we are doing anything here, God is here everybody, and we have to be very careful in what we do. I can't still believe that Access Bank, with the number of stuff we have in that market, can second somebody to your office. Of course, somebody can say it's fine. Somebody can say that, and that person will be justified. So, I mean, we need, and there are so many property, if it is just property that the guy is doing, there are so many property companies, Jide Taiwo, so many of them in the country that can do this for you. So, what we are saying is that tomorrow we need all this letter, and you must have written to Access Bank, or probably is something that is done not officially. You should let this committee know, and Nigerian people know. But if it is official, obviously you must have written a letter to Access Bank. There must be a response. And I want to take up probably later today or tomorrow the director of finance and admin. There is something wrong here. Somebody is the director of admin, and somebody is taking over your role in the name of settlement. Sincerely, we need to look at all this. And there is no how we can run an organization like this, and we expect a better result. That is the truth. Somebody may be sitting down with you there as a director and is not happy with you.
That's okay.
It can be okay. It can be okay. It's either you fire him. It's either you fire him if he does not do anything. It's Nigerian money. It's in our custody. You pay his salary. Why is he coming to office if you cannot perform? Why do you have your staff there? You just told us now that you've employed about 52 professionals. Who are these professionals? What are they supposed to do? That you are taking somebody from Access Bank, who is a player in that market, and you want people to have confidence in this market, and they have all this information. We need to get this thing right, and the time we need to get it right is now. Thank you very much.
But in actual fact, it's not just one person that has been seconded to set by an agency that said should regulate. I'll call on another one. Where is the communications assistant, Mr. Teddy, what's his name? Teddy. Communications assistant to you. No, you call the person. Nominated to you also by Access Bank. Where is the person? Let him come out.
No, but you said you have a name, so you...
I told you, where is your communications? Why are you making this thing so difficult?
No, you were going to say...
Okay, sorry. Where is the communications assistant to you?
Chairman, who are you referring to? Because I want to make sure...
I'm referring to your communications assistant. You have only one.
Who are you referring to? You have a name.
Either Titi or Tete. I didn't get it.
Are you referring to Titi or Lubi?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Because he's manager.
Okay, good. Now,
how did Oyele and Mr. Titi Olubi out of duty?
the question
We
is,
have,
my worry is...
because my communication...
hold on. Please,
I will be adding to this actually here.
Hold on.
And maybe you would like to talk...
No, I don't want to speak with him.
Okay.
My question is...
So it means you're leading on...
Hold on, yeah, I am. My worry is, you take money of the SEC, which is investors' money. You hire by asking we're taking employed, everybody employed, by the engaged by executive.
They were the they are not on the payments, they are not on the payroll.
Where did you come
from? Access. They are
receiving salary from the access company?
no, they are not receiving salary.
But they are receiving salary from the access company. That's cool. When was this? When was this process?
That should be 2010, around 2010. The first person to be employed was he came in around 2010. Then followed by almost
okay, right? What happened to the job of
so he was called a project advisor, so that he is in the commission to
thank you for that. At what position do you think they are in the front?
we are told that it's the senior manager position is equivalent to a director. No, the director was just to enable payment of outside Abuja. But that will not take over from the job. It is used on this alone. Deputy director. Director. Yes, sir. That's my level. He was supposed to, that's what I know, but he couldn't make it, I was told.
You are there?
You are the head of. They're supposed to travel for a foreign course. Because you can see from what we have done, the pension in the series, that some people actually collected this allowance, we never travel. Because I don't know, because it will be that will play in the morning.
Can I imply that every the lack of answer to him?
Don't answer to him, but the answer to the head of
no, this is the in the admin department. It means that members will emanate from below and get to him, not from him down.
It doesn't have staff, it just has an office there. It doesn't have staff.
So what then would you say his job is?
Well, specifically assist and implementation of certain projects. Admin specifically they take care of the offices, the accommodation, and the zonal offices. If you want to get the zonal office, they are responsible for the maintenance of the office as well. To that, it's true. Director. And the director and is that correct?
So he's in admin department.
Well, I mean the human resource department. So that's very good. But in the admin department, who is in charge of admin?
We is in charge of that.
So effectively now we have two directors in admin.
Well, we have
we have a director who is permanently employed in admin. The director of program services, the temporary permanent staff.
Let me ask a question.
Yes.
Would you feel SEC is unable to, by financial requirements, employ itself and the institute staff from SEC? Staff from a bank or staff from a bank?
No, sir. I think we can.
Do you, with all your years working and like SEC, that it would be appropriate to take a staff from your person?
Well,
something that is rather strange to you?
well, in my own personal opinion, we've never done such a
Thank you for your frustration. Job is a director or a leading director. That's one. Two, activities and so-called trust, is it related or in regulatory issues of sex?
yes. It's not a managed office. My right is thank you, sir. Guidance to the how many times before that you keep all records? Yes. Either that advisor who is advisor. He advises based on human
how many? No. No.
We have a technical advisor. She's a I think those are the advisors.
I have a question to ask you.
Yes.
How many of such people who have come from SEC are with you right now? Of the bonus.
There are only two programs that we have.
Okay. Why we're talking about that? Because it seems to be raised by to what it does not mean the fact that it's compromised. So I asked that the director bring for us tomorrow information of the non from there. I'm aware that SEC had done some and sometimes
they follow due process. They went through, it was advertised. They went through tests, and then from aptitude test, what is called assessment centers.
okay. Okay.
I'm
talking about staff by the SEC in the recent.
Basically, on contract, there was a problem, and then we retained them. We retained them for the year. After the
do you think as an expert that the process should go the process?
Yes. The contract staff employed, the company staff were followed and yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
By the rules of the one Mr. Mini employed as a contract?
He's on contract.
Now, the rule guiding employment of people who are management staff.
Yes, he acquired in the position.
Thank you. Now, but when you come to the commission, employing the caliber of people who gives approval?
The senior staff approval is by the board, while the junior staff, the management, the DG or the executive. Yes.
Do you have evidence to say that the name I called was employed in accordance with people management met and agreed? The staff.
Well, he was interviewed.
By who?
We interviewed the commissioner, financial. Yes.
Interview and appraise. A manager. So the is that bigger by the family?
Sir? They are starting up. It could be done.
You are give me that document. not go through the process. Allowing approval of people without due recourse.
After listening for you, we
force human to carry in the place of it. Where did you get the instruction? Or else?
yeah,
That is some of it. Thank you. So, get the Deputy Commissioner process. I want to give a memo in terms of legal enforcement.
By Almighty God, that this public hearing before this House, Committee on Capital Market and Institutions, shall be the truth, the whole truth.
Who did you advise specifically?
The recruitment process has to go to the executive. Then from there,
the skill your advice.
Give the approval. He gives the
when I did what she did, I had the process. Without what seems to me to be due process. Were you aware of this?
I'm aware of retained office. Of 30 people, but I'm aware of retained youth corps who served under my directorate when we had a serious staffing problem. I did request the service not to have staff, or in the alternative, retain them until such staff are posted. And so they were retained for about a year or so. Well, first instance 3 months, later 6 months, 9 months, eventually they left.
as junior staff. Not properly employed because declared by the executive management. And you brought this to the notice.
I got a complaint from some of the who were not invited to such interview, and I therefore called the people to confirm. I called the people to confirm whether there was such interview going on, and I immediately wrote a memo advising him that such should not go on. That it has not followed due process. That anybody needs to be employed at the junior level, executive management, that anybody level which also should get to the board first. And I then concluded that such employment done is illegal, and any money is an illegal expenditure.
Yeah.
Thank you. You may sit down. Okay. How long have you worked with the Yes, how long have you been there? So you are yes. Recruitment of being a member of the senior management team, the wealth of experience are more than without this process having you say must formalize the organization of is to prepare decided let me question heavy margin. have employed him debt with your work of experience. What you have is the better of the God. You claim you not that you are in such a person. Give me the well, actually and the senior 2009. Some of them so at the end of it, you're saying that the entire and he has to speak on this, said that now.
I think we will need to have to people or profit from their own offices. They're supposed to be an asset. How do you have paid an AGM, a DGM, or probably a director in assets? Thank you very much.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
My question. Human resources, the disease from the exercise they were carrying out. I don't know, I want to know who directed the film memo, because I want to carry out, they must have gotten their directive from perhaps the DG, the management committee. They also direct the same because it is service on I also think that Daniel ought to have gone to the DG or the water management. Did they do that? And two, who are those that constitute the management committee and for the such employment that are made up of who? And then you said the tell or the supporters what and otherwise. Finally, being the miscellaneous provision section 246 of SEC, which to my understanding, if I don't give some certain in my
nobody copy such memos. I don't just give them because he doesn't report to me. The Director of Human Resources doesn't report to me at all. I actually have no business, seriously. So what I gave was an and the Commissioner and the DG. I do that when such issues arise. Secondly, the issue of executive management. Now, executive is made up of the Director General as a chairperson and the 3 executive commissioners as members, secretary as a secretary. And there are matters that are meant for the executive management. And once it is said that management, it is deemed that it should be executive management. But at times, staff at times misconstrue. Member of the executive management says management. I've had cause to advise that when they write something, they should say who exactly gave the instruction, not management, so that those who are not involved will not be brought into it. And then on the issue of employment, guiding our employees, the document that says who this in this contained the approve junior staff, will approve senior staff. And let me just use this opportunity to correct one impression. I am a member of the board of SEC, and I want to correct the impression by Mr. Dowdy. The board of SEC, up until this moment, the employment of anybody except the young professionals. Only as the board of SEC approved is the employment of the young professionals who went through a thorough process before they were employed. And finally, on the issue of ISA. The ISA gives the minister a right over finance. And so the Minister of Finance can give certain waivers. For example, if we approach the Minister of Finance and ask for certain waivers in respect of things we want to do, if the Minister can do it, who are we not to do that? But I'm not aware that we did. Thank you very much.
I think we'll spend time tomorrow. It's 11 o'clock tomorrow. I think that's something 11 is better. But if I say 11,
Gentlemen and ladies of the House, gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to this afternoon to make a presentation. I must say that I'm one of the saddest persons of this afternoon, because
not any hope investment that they are recovering. I'm also sad because many investors whom we had advised in the market have suffered no evidence in our advisor. And because the market is at its lowest ebb as we talk now, this paper, this day, you will read that the Nigerian market, which was about the fourth in the world a few years back, today is the lowest market. Very, very sad. Mr. The way forward and its history. Therefore, we as an institution some things to look for in moving the market. First, as an institute, we have our own measures. We have made sure we have made sure provided code of ethics and practice to our members that they will not repeat the mistakes of the past. That has a retired job as the assessor. Investor, broker, to will be sure stable justice. Also, beginning and the crisis, we made representations at the highest authority in this land on measures to be taken to as far back as 2000 and I quote, action made by the stock tax my time. But thank God, based on our representation, at this and in other fora, give back to AMCON. But AMCON of one side of the issue and let the believe that something can aborting the market is investors' confidence. Two, to investors' confidence. If the market is liquid today, they will come back to it. But as long as situations remain like this, and every going and to that formed, but and this world have taken that and in that their governments have made example. In 2009, the Japanese government, through its Treasury Department, in their market, has massively so that the market can the line, which they bought at price, making capital the same at taxpayers because the government impact. It can still use the same, can do that job effectively for this market, and the taxpayers lose any money. And then the investor who seems to back those money at cheap rates. Market rebound. But to make the market rebound, fund. We believe it's a issue that there is at this morning. For those nationalized banks, Mr. Chairman, something can be done to save them, to help them. We have brought over investors. Make sure the existing shareholders totally. For instance, the union about a core investor that each shareholder gets 21% of their previous, all the 100% at least. And that is something benefits them lose out completely. The same way, since the government is the core investor, the shareholders can be given advantage so that they do not the investors banks. Mr. Chairman, the market is so big and the market has a chance at the national together. National Assembly make it for big companies in Nigeria that do business with Nigeria, companies that make money from Nigeria, companies that earn dividends from Nigeria, further depleting all such companies can be made to list Nigerian Stock Exchange. Because I know internationally they will say you cannot force list. There's also the other, the doctrine. We can use the doctrine of like to list, and we can also use incentives to make them like. And on that basis, we also suggest that for all these companies, these are by license and happy exchanges. They have the big companies listed, multinational companies listed. The Nigerian market will be attractive to all investors. Nigerian investors who seem to have lost interest now would definitely be attracted to come back. I suggest these laws are made very soon. I can assure you of all the stockbrokers have learned from the past. Brokers are willing to look inward, engineer the entire business, and attract it to everyone. I stop so because of I want us to that this is a market information sensitive. This is a market in which an officer of government sneezes the market, and therefore whatever information we are given with information that was something to want back to the market. We all therefore must unite. We all therefore must speak in a way everybody will know that we are interested in survival of the Nigerian capital market. Thank you very much.
The DG said and our directors and all the staff of Securities today. I didn't quite see those students from SEC. The CEO of Nigeria, Oscar Hembe and his team. I thank Mr. President, stockbrokers and his team. I thank journalists who have stayed all day with us. I thank the ICPC Yes, if you are hope we're helping you in doing your job thereafter. Ask the journalists to balance in your reporting so that Nigerians can actually get to know you. Thank you very much, all of you. To go well. We will be taking on the tomorrow again. So because there are still other issues that we need to. So we expect that you will be here. The DGs of the Nigerian Stock Exchange will tell you when next you will come because we need to tackle this one first. When we're done with this, you can also always leave people behind to observe what is happening because these are. I thank you again very profusely and lunch is still available. As I said earlier.
favor